So let's talk about something huge today. How in the world do you get your focus back when everything seems designed to steal it? We're going to dive into what's called a dopamine detox, which is a really powerful way to break that cycle of constant distraction.
Let me ask you something, and you gotta be honest. Does it ever feel like your phone, with all its dings and buzzes and those endless feeds, is the one in charge of your attention span? Yeah? If you're nodding along, trust me, you are not the only one. It's something pretty much all of us are dealing with.
And that's exactly what we're here to do. We're going to unpack the science behind why this happens, and this is the most important part, we're going to walk through a really clear, simple plan to break that cycle and finally get your focus back. So let's start with the main player in this whole story.
Okay, first things first. We have to understand the main character here, and that's a little neurotransmitter called dopamine. But you know what? Its real job might not be what you think it is. So what is dopamine really? Well, it's a chemical messenger in your brain. But here is the absolute key to understanding everything else. It's not released when you get the reward. It's released when you think you're about to get one, or when you're taking steps to get it. And this is where we get to bust a huge myth. We always hear dopamine called the pleasure chemical, but that's not quite right. It's really the chemical of motivation, the molecule of wanting. It's what drives you to go after something. See, it's all about the chase, not the prize itself.
And you know, evolutionarily, this system was basically a superpower. It's what got our ancestors to hunt, to build, to connect with each other. You know, the stuff you need to do to survive. But today, whoa. That exact same system has been completely hijacked by all the cheap, fast, easy rewards our tech gives us. It's basically rewired our brains to just always want more.
So this hijacking, it leads us straight to the heart of our modern focus problem. And that is the problem of being constantly overstimulated. Let's break down what that actually looks like. Just think about the usual suspects, right? Social media, video games, streaming shows, they all have one sneaky thing in common. They're designed as open systems. That means there's no natural stopping point. The feed just keeps scrolling, the next episode just keeps playing. This design keeps our brains hooked, always hungry for the next little hit. And this creates this constant trade-off we're making without even realizing it. Our brains get so used to chasing these quick hits that they start to devalue anything that takes time. We end up choosing the easy comfort of what's right in front of us over the meaningful goals waiting for us down the road. So here's the kicker. When your brain gets used to this fire hose of easy stimulation, the things that actually require effort, like studying for an exam or practicing an instrument or just doing deep, focused work, they start to feel incredibly boring. So that feeling of procrastination, it's not just you being lazy. It's your overstimulated brain literally rejecting a task that doesn't give it an immediate reward. Okay, so that's the problem. And I know it sounds a little grim, but here is the really good news. You can totally recalibrate your brain. So let's talk about the solution, the detox itself. The whole point of a dopamine detox isn't to get rid of dopamine. I mean, that's impossible, and you wouldn't want to anyway. The idea is to just intentionally lower your exposure to all those high stimulus things. Seriously, think of it like hitting a giant reset button for your brain's entire reward system.
And why would you want to do this? Well, the benefits are awesome. When your brain isn't expecting a constant party of intense stimulation, those boring but important things, they actually start to feel interesting again. Your focus gets deeper, it becomes way easier to work on your big goals, and you just start to feel more present and connected in your own life. It's a game changer.
All right, so you're probably thinking, how do I actually do this? Let's get super practical. Here is a simple 3-step plan that you can start using like today. The whole thing really just boils down to these 3 actions. First, you gotta figure out what's pulling you away. Second, you make those things harder to get to. And third, you have to be really smart about how you start your day. Let's look at each one. Okay, step 1 is all about awareness. You've gotta just take a minute and be really honest with yourself. What are the things that are wrecking your focus? Make a list. Those are your cans. Then make another list of the low-key, valuable things you actually want to be doing instead. Reading, walking, meditating. Those are your cans. Step 2 is where you start to engineer your environment to help you win. We call this adding friction. So if your phone is the biggest problem, don't just try to use willpower. That's a losing battle. Physically put it in another room when you need to focus. And at the same time, you do the opposite for your good habits. Make them easier. Set out your books, create a nice little study corner,
You want to make the right choice the easy choice. And step 3, honestly, this one might be the biggest game changer of all. How you start your day really sets the tone for everything else. If the very first thing you do when you wake up is grab your phone and dive into that sea of notifications, you've already told your brain, hey, let's be distracted today. Instead, try starting with something calm, journaling, stretching, or even just sitting in silence for a few minutes.
Now, doing a detox is a fantastic start, but the real goal here is to build focus that actually lasts, right? So how do we make this sustainable?
First, and this is so important, you need to understand that you're going to slip up. It's going to happen, and that is totally okay. The key is not to get bogged down in guilt, but to just have a plan for when it happens. A great way to do this is with a contingency plan. You just identify your triggers, like feeling bored or stressed, and then decide beforehand what better thing you're going to do instead. Because at the end of the day, the detox is really just the catalyst. Real, meaningful productivity isn't about having one perfect, heroic day. It's about combining that focus with consistency over time and pointing it at the things that actually make an impact. So, to put all of this into practice, I have a really simple challenge for you, something you can try as soon as you're done here. That's it. Just 4 hours. Turn your notifications off, put your screens away, and just spend that time doing one of your can activities. Read a book, go for a walk, spend some real time with people you care about. Just see how it feels to give your brain a genuine break. And I'll just leave you with this final thought. Forget about trying to be perfect. Just imagine. What could you learn or create or build if you could just get back one single truly focused hour every single day? That's the power we're talking about here, and it is totally within your reach. Thanks for digging into this with me.